Hey guys, right now we're setting a rim board on our truss heels, and we're going to show you how and why we do this. Okay, so we always start on a plumb truss, and in this case we already plumbed our ladder truss when we set this. So we're going to be starting from a plumb point. We're going to nail our board on flush and go from there. Okay, so we're going to nail this end. We want to make sure it's flush and it's flush. This top part is the most important part of this. Every time you nail, it needs to be flush to the top because this is helping carry the load down to the foundation. Okay, we're going to flush it up here and flush it up here and nail it off. Now we pull our layout, same as we did down below, up here, and that's going to plumb these trusses as we pull layout. So we're dropping 1 3/4 inches, and the reason for that is because we're doing what's called on center framing. So if we pulled 19.2 for the first one, which is 1 foot 7 3/16, that is where our truss would start, which is 3.5 inches wide. Now when I pull my tape off the end, that's hitting the edge. And what we're doing is marking center. So what we have to mark our center here, right on the diamond, and then we'll take 3.5 divided by 2, which is 1 3/4 inches. 3.5 is the width of our floor truss, and we're going to divide that by 2, which is 1 3/4 inches. So we're going to go 1 3/4 inches back from our 19.2 center point. And that is the start of the floor truss. Now when you pull off the end, you'll see that 1 foot 5 7/16 is our new mark. So that's exactly what they call for, and that's because we're framing on center. Every time you nail, you have to flush this part up because that carries your sheeting around the edge, and it also helps carry down the load. So we want to make sure that it's flush with the tops of the floor trusses. Now that we got our mark here, and this guy's nailed plumb, we're going to pull 19.2 off of him and go down the line. So we marked our layout down to here, and we go 1 3/4 inches past our layout mark, and we'll cut this so that when they seam, it's centered on a floor truss all the way down. The way these trusses are spaced out, if you cut the next board to 16 feet, it'll work out to be centered on the truss at the end. Right here, we move this truss over to avoid this bolt. So to plumb this truss, I'm going to measure at the heel 13 3/4 inside, and I'll make sure to go off the plate so the measurement is the same, and that's going to plumb the truss for us. But the 19.2 will carry through, so we don't have to worry about going off this to this one. We'll just keep our 19.2 going all the way through the run. So now we're doing the rim board around the staircase, which this is an important one because it has a specific measurement. So we'll get this right off of the truss plans, and it should match the print. So between the inside of this truss to the inside of that truss over there is 12 foot 4 inches. That's what we're going to cut our board at, and it's going to go bump into each truss, and we'll put a block on here that lines up with this so we can nail it in. We got our board here, and I'm going to make a mark right here so I know where to level down and put my block so that when this is on here, it'll nail on. Okay, right here we get this measurement 1 3/4 inches right off the floor truss layout, and we just keep pulling 19.2 down this way. There's no unique spaces in this run. And there you have it. We got a rim board around our staircase. This is a pretty common scenario where you have jogs on the outside of the foundation. So this might be a ladder truss or another truss, but you just put a block on here, and then your sheetrock backer can nail on this. You just put a 2x4, and since it's in the right plane, your sheetrock backer or sheeting backer can go here if you're on the outside of the house. And that's about it for rim board. Just remember to keep it flush on the top. Make sure you're pulling your spacing so your trusses end up plumb. If you guys want to see a video for every single aspect of the house, please consider subscribing because we're going in depth on the whole process.